These days many athletes can do a full planche. But this guy out of all of them has the most hours spent training it, and his planche strength is just simply out of this world. Valentin Blanc was born in 1995 in Montpellier, which is a city located in the south of France. His roots aren't only from France because half of his family comes from a small city in the Ukraine. He was a typical teenager having nothing to do, no idea of how his future will look like or what profession he will do. Valentin, like every young boy, wanted to look good, and so he started at the age of 19 working out, because being skinny and 1 m 65 cm tall wasn't really a good combination, and to put on some mass he chose a bodyweight training over the traditional weightlifting. At this point he didn't know about that he's doing calisthenics, because at that time it wasn't that popular yet, and so it was for him only putting some muscles with this style of training. The beginning of his calisthenics journey is also one of a few times when we could see him do dynamics. Just for fun, like jump over the bar or try a couple of times catching the swing 360, but he didn't really like it, and so he mainly focused on building muscles and strength. One day Valentin and his old friend he used to work out with saw Artem Morozov and a few other Russian guys doing crazy skills which they found really interesting, but the main thing Valentin really fell in love with was the straddle planche, and so he immediately tried it the same day, but with a pronated grip, which his wrists didn't really like. So right the next morning, being really motivated and believing in himself, he went and tried to do it again. But this time he twisted a little bit his wrists into more like neutral position, and boom! He held it. Even though not perfectly clean, but still it was really crazy considering him trying this after only 3 months of basics. Once he tasted how it feels to do the planche, he didn't go back to basics and started to focus only on handstands, handstand push-ups and the planche. Not knowing the correct planche form like the whole body position, straight arms or posterior pelvic tilt, he did it with bad form, but back then it counted. It didn't matter if it was banana straddle planche or planche with bent arms. He was just doing it every day, trying to put a lot of volume in and enjoying the time with calisthenics. And yes, he was really working out every day. In a matter of fact, he was training 3 times a day. He trained in the morning when he walked his dog, then after the lunch, and he finished his day with another training after the dinner. This enormous stress his body handled for a whole year, but then came 6 months full of injuries. This made him sit and make a research on how to train properly without getting injured. With all the gained knowledge, he came back and started training again. Valentin kept doing statics with bad form for 3 long years, mainly because he didn't try to learn the clean form. He was just playing with it, enjoying the feeling of flying, but once he found out how to do skills properly, he decided to push it to the next level. This next level he didn't keep it to himself and decided to show it in the 2017 Burning Gate competition, where all those people made him a little bit stressed and not fully focused, and so he failed a couple of times, but still his performance was crazy. His next appearance was in the 2018 competition in Italy, where in the finals he battled with the famous Kaji Yatarov. It was really close, but in the end he lost and placed second. To see his another competition, we need to go to the country where the legendary battles happen. Yes, we are in the Madrid in Spain at the 3rd Street Workout Ultimate Battles, where Valentin really showed his insane strength in statics. His battle against well-known Eric Barcy he won, but then he lost against Melnik, which was more complete athlete doing dynamics and statics. Even though nowadays he's not competing, he still gives all his life into calisthenics. Along his journey, he received many messages on how to handstand or how to planche, and so he and his friend back in 2019 uploaded on YouTube channel firstly called Davaj Calisthenics School, a straddle planche tutorial, where he explained in detail how to achieve it. Even after that, people were still hitting his Instagram DMs for another tips, and Valentin, being really kind, he gave them the quick advice just for free, even though he never had a full-time job and he was surviving only from many part-time jobs, which on the other hand helped him to use as much time as possible for calisthenics and trying to make his dream come true of making his living only from calisthenics, which he successfully accomplished. In 2019, he started to live mainly from his online coaching, which has tons of positive feedbacks, and secondly from his programs about, for example, how to one-arm planche, full planche, one-arm handstand or full multis. These programs are professionally done, and for example the last one mentioned, full multis program, contains incredible 47 pages, which is definitely worth the money, especially for the fact that it doesn't consist of only how to do the normal full multis, but also how to do different variations like pronated, supinated or even on the vertical bars, for example. Among his programs you can find also one about the front lever, which he doesn't really like and you will rarely see him doing it. That's mainly because he likes the feeling of flying in the planche, where you can really be creative, because there are no limits to it. Even if you don't have parallettes, you can simply just do it on the floor, and that's what you can't do with the front lever, because you will always need a bar to do it, and also it will be always in your way. He has a really interesting point of view about doing only planche. He takes it like it's a whole another sport because of the creativity, different variations and all that stuff. And so that's the reason why his social media platforms are flooded by planche. Valentin shared with us his future goals of wanting to get world record for full multis hold and presses, full planche presses and lastly the record for the one-arm planche hold. To achieve this, he tries to stay as light as possible to be able to do all those skills, and so for breakfast he has cashew with Red Bull. Then he doesn't eat for a whole day until it's dinner time, when he has something like eggs or fish with salad. And because his body reacts to bigger food intake very quickly, he tries to eat as clean as possible, so no pizza, no burgers or sweets. Valentin is also co-founder of the calisthenics team called Outsiders, which he and his friend created after Valentin wasn't happy in the first one because they took it very seriously. So at the beginning it was just a random unknown group of friends spread all over the France, working out alone, doing many statics, sharing the same passion and knowledge. And so that's why the name Outsiders. But over time it grew into a competitive group. Like everything having its end, this group sadly broke apart, and a few of its members created a new one called Neo Strength. Valentin truly lives only for calisthenics. When he wakes up, he does 1 hour of stretching. After that, he spends 2 hours with his students, following up with his own workout that usually lasts for 2 hours, and ending the day with another 2 hours of coaching. Whenever he's reading something or being on the computer, he's always learning something about calisthenics. But now things will maybe get a little bit more complicated, because his girlfriend, which does calisthenics too and can be considered as one of the strongest female athletes, is pregnant. And so maybe it will be harder to combine all the coaching with calisthenics and still spend time with his child. But Wellington will surely figure this out.